Let's just mention Michael. You've already alluded to him. What's the latest with Michael? Do you think? Have you heard anything more recently?
No, I haven't heard anything more. I mean, I've all the way through that, I've only listened to those two very eminent surgeons in the white coats who were the men who've been inside Michael's head and been operating on him. They're the ones that know what's going on, and I've sort of dismissed all the other stuff that I've heard, and we'll just have to wait. I mean, it's so sad, it's tragic, and it just seems, such a small incident in many respects has given him this problem with, in terms of the accident, when you hear and read about that, and despite wearing a crash helmet. But, I fear Michael's on a very long journey to an unknown destination in terms of, where he could end up here. And I know people very close to him are sad, and they're very concerned, and have spoken to a few people. And but we can only hope that that destination is full recovery in however long it takes. But clearly it's a pretty grave situation for him.
I mean, he's clearly a driven and motivated and super fit guy. I mean, you'd know, you were his teammate, weren't you, in 1992? What was he like to work against?
Well, he was fearsome because he was so mentally and physically strong, and that's going to help him through this. And, we're talking 21 years ago, before he really started to dominate the world of F1. And Michael turned up at Bennett. I was his teammate in his first full year, and he rewrote the rules. He could drive every corner of every lap of every race weekend flat out. We were still coming off the era of having to protect the brakes a little bit, protect the gears and the clutch and the tires, and look after your car. Reliability was pretty poor back then, and Michael turned up just at the right time. We all had to raise our game physically and how we went about our motorsport. So, as you say, I think that sort of those advantages that made him such a great champion give him a better chance, surely, of pulling through this.
How did you rate his comeback, his 3-season sort of second career?
It wasn't as good as I thought it would be, but I think we now have to understand that Nico Rosberg was better than we thought. I mean, I've always championed him along the way, I have to say, Nico, but when we see Nico up against Lewis now, I think that's been put in more perspective since Michael stopped, actually. But overall, you have to say it was a mistake that he came back. At the time, I thought he was doing the right thing, but it didn't work out quite as he hoped, and I and many others expected.
I think the accident, ironically, has sort of taken people's minds off that, and if he makes a good recovery from the skiing accident, we'll sort of almost forgive him, won't we, that 3-year stint of not achieving much.
Well, I think that's all in the past now, isn't it? And, the tragedy is, Michael, he's got the trophies, he's got the championships in his pocket, he's revered as he goes around the world. Wonderful family, his ranch in America, his beautiful place in Switzerland, financially incredibly secure. The poor guy had everything that you could ever wish for and dream of. And I have to say, I enjoyed spending time with Michael more in recent times than at any time. We all mellow a little bit, but as some of the stuff that happened in the past sort of blends away, you could. And it's so excited to show you his skydiving pictures on his phone. Some crazy skydiving. That was his passion. He'd go off to skydive here, there, and everywhere.